We're back again. Today we're gonna do Furina Story Quest.
Hey, Catherine, it's us. Got any new commissions? Specifically one with a huge more attack, perhaps? Paimon's just being enthusiastic. We're old friends now, she gets it.
With a puppet? Because all Catherines are robots,
To see
right?
our two most avid adventurers again. Looking for the next challenge, I see. Actually, we do in fact have a rather urgent commission that is still open. Having read the details, however, I don't believe you'd consider it to be lucrative.
Pass. If they're not paying me, pass.
We were just kidding. So what's the situation?
To put it simply, the requester is looking for a temporary replacement actress for their musical. The original cast member ran into some issues and is currently unable to perform the role. But the troupe has also been experiencing some financial difficulties, so unfortunately they cannot afford to pay the replacement actress.
That does sound like a tricky situation. So basically they're looking for a volunteer?
That's right. Our adventurers reached out to many actresses, but none of them were willing to take the job. There are only a few days left until the performance. If they can't find someone in time, they'll probably have to postpone the show.
That's weird though. Do
And
people
delays tend to
actually
create all sorts of
do
new
commissions for
problems.
free?
Got it. Oh,
That's
this
tough.
one's a doozy. What do you
Because,
think,
you know,
Traveler?
artists
Any
gotta make
ideas?
money too, right?
Even if we took the commission, neither of us have any experience starring in musicals.
If you're interested in helping, why not start by having a chat with the requester? He's right over there.
He's right there?
Maybe we can't fill the role ourselves.
He's standing
But
right
you
there?
might be able to help him figure out another solution. Maybe they're...
Oh, it's that guy, huh? No wonder, he looks like he just ate a sour lemon. Paimon approves, let's go!
Paimon coming out of the insults. And we don't even know the guy yet.
Hello there, are you the guy looking for a new actress?
Wait, I know you two. Are you really willing to act in my musical?
Wow, sounds like we're pretty famous in Fontaine already.
He's kind of desperate. I don't like it.
But to answer your question, neither of us have any experience in musicals. But we heard that you're in a bit of a bind, so we figured we could at least try to help you think of a solution.
Ah, I see. It's okay. I knew that asking for a volunteer was a long shot. If we can't find someone to step in, we'll have no choice but to cancel the show. It would be such a shame. That's the thing. We're not some high-profile theater troupe, just a group of amateur enthusiasts.
Oh, I feel that
All our
though.
sets and props
Like
are
when you're
very
starting
crude.
off and it's
We're
just a
grateful
hobby,
enough
it's
to
so
get
hard
an
to get off the
audience, never
ground.
mind
Whatever you do,
ticket
guys.
fees.
Like
If we had a
music,
way to make this
drawing,
profitable, things
acting,
might have
whatever.
turned out differently. But now it looks inevitable that we'll disband.
Disband? You're splitting up the troupe?
Oh, I guess the lady at the Adventurers Guild didn't tell you? Yeah. This is
Damn.
supposed to be our final show together as
Now
a
I feel
troupe.
kind of bad.
One last show. And after that, we go our separate ways. So we were really hoping to end on a high note. Nobody wants things to just fizzle out. Not after all the time and effort we've invested into it. Yeah, the leading lady, in fact. She's been dealing with a chronic illness ever since childhood.
How come we can't just ask
Unfortunately, it
Linny
flared
or
up
Lynette to
again
do
recently.
it? They're performers, right?
It really drains all her energy, so she's in no state to perform. The show just won't be the same without her. But for everyone else's sake, I still hope we can find a way to hold the performance on schedule.
Got it. We have a clearer picture now. Let's see if we can come up with any ideas. What if we sponsored the show? Traveler, how much more are you carrying?
Am I considered rich in game?
Please, there's no need to go that far.
I don't remember
wouldn't
being
feel right
rich.
asking such a huge favor, and I can't promise that we'd ever be able to pay you back.
Good point. If the actress just goes through the motions for the Mora, that's not exactly rescuing the show. We should find someone who will put on the best performance possible.
Linny, Lynette, right? Who else?
Oh, wait! What about... That's how
Who
you
are they
know we're the
thinking
best
of?
Partners. Anyway, she should have all the free time in the world right now. She's really good at performing, and she was once super popular with the crowd. Performing in a musical should be a piece of cake for her.
Who are you thinking of? Sounds like someone famous.
Wait,
Her.
wait a minute, wait a
You were-
minute. What do you mean,
That was
Furina?
a joke, right?
Didn't she run away?
Nope. Paimon doesn't actually know if she's performed on stage before,
But-
but Paimon's pretty
am I
confident that
missing a
she'd be
quest?
Really good at it.
I just finished the Archon
You're
quest,
not wrong there.
and I was
She's
told she
actually
just
performed
left.
in a number of big name shows before.
How much of it was just
They
find
were one
her?
of the reasons she was so popular. But even if she's no longer the Hydro Archon, it's not like she's suddenly a
I mean,
commoner.
that's
She's still
true.
an idol to
She's
many
still the
people in
most
Fontaine,
famous person in
including myself.
Fontaine.
I just think Lady Furina might feel a bit out of place in an amateur troupe like ours.
But the thing is, like, they did say she
Well,
just wants to be
yes,
human.
But
So what better way to just be human?
fair enough. I mean, if she was actually willing to, then of course I'd be honored to have Lady Furina star in our show. I'm sure the rest of the troupe would be delighted too. I'm sure everyone in our troupe has probably dreamt of performing on stage with her one day. Of course, it all depends on whether she's interested. She might consider this opportunity beneath her.
No point in stressing about that. We'll only know if we ask her. And besides, things are different now. There's no reason for her to be all high and mighty anymore.
Thank you for your help. I guess I'll just stay here and wait for the good news. Good luck.
Wait, where does Furina actually live nowadays? She used to live in
Yeah,
luxury
isn't
at the
that-
Palais Mermonia, but she's
That's why I was confused. Why would they think Furina's
As
free
it
to do that
happens,
with?
I have her current address here. I can provide it to you.
Woo! What did you
Catherine
do?
just casually doxing.
I came over when things were starting to sound more promising.
How she can just
Be
gotta
at the
give the
ready in
Archon's
case my
address to
assistance
a
is
random
needed.
people?
It is my duty to support commissioners in any way I can.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you so much.
Well, now that we've got the address, we'll go find Furina. Back in a jiffy. Did Catherine really give us the right address? She lives...
This is a
Here?
pretty fancy house.
Not that there's anything wrong
And I
with
wonder
this
if she's
place,
gonna be the
just,
same way. Is she gonna be very hysterical,
a bit of a
or
step down from the
is she gonna
Palais
be that
Mermonia.
that shy, self-receiver inner self?
No, it's common
Oh.
courtesy to make sure the homeowner isn't in earshot when you're denigrating their abode.
Dude, the way she's talking right now, it's so
When did
different.
Poppy got a thin air become all the rage? First Catherine and now you?
I was just out on a shopping trip. I ran out of macaroni, so I went to grab a few more
Like, she's not
bags.
over the top. She's not being
I
theatrical.
used to have a much wider range
Is this the
of
real
choices
her?
when it came to food. But now I'm finding that simple, traditional home cooking can be quite delicious too. Not at all. As long as you have different kinds of sauces in, you can
my
have
God.
macaroni and
I was
tomato
not
sauce
expecting
one
this.
week, macaroni and bolognese the next.
Oh, sounds like you're really struggling to cook.
I actually never had macaroni. I don't know if it's good.
How rude! Questioning my cooking skills. The audacity!
Well, at least we
It's
know she's not like
I
Raiden. She can
have
actually
a
cook.
very eventful life these days. Actually, I barely leave the house. So I don't see how it's unusual that my meals are
I guess
a little simpler now
the
too.
the troupe might be a good
Besides,
place for her.
I'm sure
Get out of her
I could
house,
master dishes like La Lettre Fossilor
get some fresh
or
air.
blubber profiteroles in no time, if I felt so inclined.
Ah, there it is. You don't know how to cook.
Yeah. Damn
Not
it!
yet, maybe,
I thought she was better than
but-
Raiden.
Anyway, what are you even doing here? I do hope you didn't come here just to ogle at my fall from grace. Let me first be clear that I'm not taking guests at this time. So if you're just
Okay,
here
we're
to
not friends.
clown around, then please be on your way. Shoot.
Sorry.
Damn.
We're sorry. Please don't be mad. Yeah, exactly what the traveler said. Paimon wasn't trying to make fun of you. Hang on a sec. You weren't exactly holding back either.
My help? Well, maybe you're forgetting that I'm no longer the mighty Hydro
Wait,
Archon.
so
I
when
don't even have a
Fossilors
vision now.
died,
Don't worry. It's not
she didn't get any of the powers? Like, she's 100% regular
You're the one
human.
with the power to help.
Like, no vision, no powers,
Well,
just
if that's the case,
a
then fine.
average Joe.
I'll spare you the lecture
wow.
about your attitude just now.
But that is
So
what
tell
she
me,
wanted, though.
What
Well, for
specifically
herself.
makes this matter so specific? Ah, I see. I knew you couldn't have come all this way just to amuse yourselves at my expense. After all, I was once the brightest star in all of Fontaine.
You know, when she talks about herself, her ego comes out, like her old ego.
A mere musical is well within my
And you hear the
capabilities.
changing voice.
But given the present circumstances, I'm
Oh.
afraid I must
See, now she's
regretfully
back to like that
decline your
depressing
casting
sound.
request.
How come? It sounds like this would be a breeze for you.
True, but I have made a decision to retire from the stage.
Oh, she just wants the
Although
quiet
I am
life.
no longer required to play the role of the Hydro Archon. The time I spent inhabiting that character has left an indelible mark on me. Centuries.
But now you
of
can be
pretending to
another
be a
character,
different
right?
Person changes you completely. I'm not the same person I once was.
It's my cat.
Of course, that can't be undone now. It's too late, and I have no intention of reinventing myself all over again. But at least I can say that I no longer desire
Oh,
to
okay.
play any new roles.
Damn. What does she want to do then?
Paimon can understand, but
I mean, what did she do for
this
work?
is just a one-off part to fill in for someone who's sick. Surely that's okay.
Whether it's a one-off or not, it's a boundary that I've committed to no longer cross. If I make an exception to the rule now, I'm just leaving a back door for myself, which would be the same as not having a boundary in the first place. So I'm not going to perform, and that is that.
Okay, guess there's no convincing you. Well, is there anything else we can do to help out the troupe? Otherwise, they'll just have to disband without any fanfare.
I feel like, wait, am I trying to
Any
guilt trip
other
her or?
actors who might be interested in the role?
Why does it feel like I'm trying to guilt trip her?
Nope.
Short and to the point. Okay.
I've never been great at maintaining relationships. Besides, anyone I've ever worked with probably couldn't wait to get rid of me. Since I'm just an ordinary person now, they'll probably just laugh in my face if I go asking them
Damn.
for help.
She needs like some sort of self-confidence,
True, but
like a
I
boost.
mean, could you even blame them? I show up out of the blue, begging and groveling for their help with a show they won't even get paid for? Oh, no way. I'm dying from embarrassment just thinking about it.
I actually, I can kind of
Not
understand.
happening.
Well,
Like the embarrassment,
is there
the
anything else we can do?
rejection.
Performance
I feel
really
it.
means a lot to the guy we're working for.
Have I not made myself clear? You're barking up the wrong tree. I don't want this job, nor do I know of anyone else who would.
I feel like we should respect that. Yeah.
Sorry. I didn't mean for that to sound so harsh. I wish I could help, really. But if I thought I had the answer to this problem, I would have said so by now.
It's all right, Furina. Paimon just wanted to make sure we tried everything. Oh, everyone in the troupe will be so disappointed.
Yo, why does it? Oh my god. She says no, but we're guilt tripping her. Oh, but everyone's gotta be so sad. It's their last show. They're gonna.
Toodaloo to you too. I'm going
Chill,
home to take a
dude. Let her
rest now.
be. That's like emotional manipulation, no?
Huh? What's going on? Are they arguing?
That's besides the point. I'll ask you again. Why did you start looking for a replacement without my consent? When did I tell
Is that
you
the
I'm going
lead
to take a
actress?
step back?
You didn't need to say it. We've known each other for how long now? We know the signs. But you never tell us about your illness, even when it's clearly flaring up.
And that gives you the right to make a decision on my behalf?
Well,
Shortly after you left, the troupe's lead actress came to the Adventurers Guild. She believes that she's healthy enough to perform. Excuse me, but can you both take a moment to discuss something else for now? The adventurer assigned to your commission has returned.
Sorry, I was just dealing with a little misunderstanding. So, how did your conversation with Furina go?
I'm actually
Sadly,
cringing
it's a
about
no
the
from
answer I'm
her.
giving.
We tried to persuade her, but she wasn't having
It's
it.
so awkward for everyone
She doesn't
involved.
want to play the role for personal reasons.
I see. Well, circumstances have changed a little, so maybe that's not such bad news after all. You see, our leading lady has just informed me that she's well enough to make it to the show after
What if she
all.
passes out in
Staging
the middle
musical with the
of
full original cast
the
was always the
show?
dream, of course.
Oh, right. Sounds like everything worked itself out then. Yeah, she'd be livid. We'd get the scolding of a lifetime.
Jeez, is Lady Furina really so harsh?
I mean, she really wasn't, right? She was actually quite nice about it. It was like we were being
Guess we
really
can consider
pushy.
this case closed now, huh? Despite the fact that we failed to complete the commission, we were still racking our brains for ideas on the way back here.
I mean, it's fine. We weren't getting paid, so.
Look, there's
don't
no
feel that
point
bad.
arguing with you about this anymore. You've made yourself very clear, so I'll stop looking for a replacement. This is the last chance we have, though. If your illness flares up again, there won't be time to find anyone to replace you. So, are you absolutely sure you'll be able to handle it?
My cat's making biscuit
The
on
whole
me.
team is putting everything they have into this final performance. We have to make sure it goes ahead.
Yes, I'm completely confident. I've been taking a new medication from the doctor, and it's working brilliantly. I'll definitely be able to tough it out until the performance day. I share everyone's desire.
I mean,
to
she
commemorate
does
all
seem
our
like she's
years as a troupe
very
with a proper farewell show.
healthy
So,
right now.
The last thing I want is to be left out. Every one of us thinks of this troupe as their home, myself included.
You're right. I'm sorry. I let myself get too worried about the show. I should have asked for your permission first.
All's well that ends well. Sounds like the show will go on.
What? It's Furina behind us stalking us? No! No, she was. Ah!
How did you... I was just passing by because I realized I forgot a couple of items on my shopping list. All right, I'm coming. No need to drag me.
Oh man.
Hello, one and all. I couldn't help but
Oh,
overhear your
she's still doing the
conversation
persona
just
of like,
now.
you know, what she was doing before.
You said you were gonna take a rest at home. What are you doing here?
I was just ever so slightly concerned about the situation you mentioned. Yes, a teensy bit concerned, that's all. When you came to talk with me earlier, I jumped right to explaining my position and said some strongly worded things. And all before I even had a full grasp of the situation. Anyway, I just
She
feel
wants
a
to be
bit
part of
bad
it.
about how it went down. I'm sorry, Paimon.
Oh, it's totally fine. Paimon didn't take any of that personally.
I feel like this is the first time she apologized.
You really have a knack for asking the most uncomfortable questions, don't you? I felt very sheepish, having had a change of heart after flatly refusing you. And then, to make matters worse, you caught me. But in any case, it sounds like the issue has already been resolved.
Yeah. When they said they were gonna ask for your help, I almost had a heart attack. I mean, how could we be worthy of having Lady Furina star in our show?
There's no need to think like that. And no need to keep addressing me as lady. Just Furina is fine. I was wondering...
It's so crazy that
if
like
this
she's so
troupe
modest
is so
now.
important to all of you, why does it have to disband? If the difficulties are purely financial, then there must be a solution. You could put the shows on pause while you look for a sponsor, for instance. Everyone seems so devoted to the troupe.
It's crazy because like
sure if you keep
even if she
chipping
can't be a
away,
performer,
you'll
she can
find
be
way
a manager,
through.
right? She can still do stuff.
We all want to believe that, but some things are just beyond our control. Everything's been going downhill ever since we lost our director.
Or
She was the
director.
heart and soul of our troupe. She kept us going.
Her name was O'Reilly, and she was the founder as well as the artistic director of our troupe. And tragically, she was a victim in this serial
Oh,
disappearances case.
what?
What?
That's actually
So is
how
that
I
the
recognized
Vahir
these
guy?
two. It was all thanks to their efforts that the true culprit was brought to justice. But still, no sentence.
It's
can
sad
bring
that
our
like
director
even
back to us.
though
She
you
was a loyal
know,
fan of your
there's
performances,
no
Lady-
none of that disappearance in the
Miss
future.
Furina.
Everyone
They
that
were what
disappeared in the
first
past
inspired her to
can
get
never
into
come
musical
back.
theater.
That is kind of
She rallied
sad.
many people around her who were destitute or had lost their
Like, they
sense of
can't
purpose in
remake
life,
them back to
and
humans.
convinced them to join her troupe. She wrote her own scripts, acted on stage, and mentored each and every one of us. People loved our performances back then. We seemed to be going from strength to strength. Things were really looking up for us.
And then disaster struck.
Yeah. After that, the entire troupe fell into disarray. None of us know anything about script writing, let alone how to handle the business side of things. We've been doing the
No, I
best
can
we
see it, guys. I can see it. I can see it.
But despite our efforts, things
She
are
is gonna
slowly
be
but
the
surely falling
manager,
apart.
director, the
It's
showrunner.
agonizing. But ultimately, we'd rather end things now on our own terms than stick it out to the bitter end and watch all our dreams turn to dust.
Oh.
What a terrible waste. A gifted artist from humble beginnings who achieved so much and no doubt had much more to give. And then her life was so cruelly taken. I suppose it's fair to say then that this final show, besides being your farewell to the stage, is also your final gift for her?
It's very poetic.
Yes, exactly. We all miss her terribly.
Well, good thing I followed the traveler here. After hearing this tragic tale, I can no longer stand by and do nothing.
Furina.
I know what you're thinking, but I by no means plan to cross the boundary I've set for myself. Besides, they're no longer looking for a replacement anyway.
But
I can, however, provide some
Yes.
artistic guidance from the vantage point of a highly experienced audience member. But only if you feel this is something that would help, of course.
Oh, most definitely. We'll take any guidance that you can give.
We unfortunately don't have any
so she
budget
goes
for
from
a
being an
consultant,
actress,
though.
you know,
Will
to being
that
the
be a
Hydra
problem?
Archon, right?
I
To just
don't
being a
need
director
any
now.
compensation. All I'd ask in return, if you're willing, is that you tell me some more about the life and work of your late director. Something I've begun to realize since my departure from the Opera Epiclese is that there's a lot you don't see when you observe everything from on high. The law only judges criminal behavior and does not weigh human emotions.
This is the real
The court's
Furina.
verdict can settle the question of criminal liability, but what about
Like,
all
she's
the
so
unresolved
soft-spoken and
emotions
thoughtful.
of the parties involved? What happens to them? An interesting answer. But
You know,
if
it kind of
ask
reminds me
me,
of the Hida,
I think
if
all
I'm being
emotions
honest.
shall ultimately return home to the heart.
Like
and
the
slowly
feel, the
settle with
vibe
the
of how
passage
she's
of
acting
time.
right now.
Take, par exemple, how this troupe pines for their late director. Things such as this I have never witnessed before. And so I should like to observe, perchance to understand.
Still a fan of your old dramatic monologues then, huh? You just want to get back in on the action, don't you?
Dude, shut up, Paimon.
No,
she's
no, this
she's
is a
like she's finally
completely
opening
different
herself, and then Paimon has
situation.
to be like,
Pearls
oh my
before
god.
The name's not Swine, it's Paimon!
No, she's
Would
right.
you be willing to join me?
Furina was right.
Come
That is your
on,
name.
Take a break from adventuring to listen to a story.
Thank you all so much. Our director was a huge fan of Miss Furina's performances.
Oh,
As, of course, we all are. All right, follow me. We'll go to our usual practice space. Please excuse the size. It's a little on the smaller side.
is this? Wait, is this the practice place or the actual
Lady Furina?
place where they perform?
What's Lady Furina doing here?
Hello all. Allow me to explain. As of today, Miss Furina will be supporting our production.
Dude, this is a quick,
The
cute little quest, no?
oenid, in the role
It's like, it's
of
not too serious. It's just kinda cute.
consultant. These two over here
It's
are
like
the
what
ones
her
that made
life
it
is
possible.
after the Archon
They
quest.
kindly reached out
Is
to Miss
this is
Furina on
what
our
she's gotta be
behalf.
doing from now
I'm
on.
sure they need no introduction.
You bet! That was the trial of the century!
You helped bring our director's murderer to justice. We can't thank you enough.
Oh, please don't mention it. We're just here to join in on the fun.
So, you were saying the little oenid?
Yeah, that's the name of our final show. It's an unfinished script left behind by our director. One of our greatest regrets is that she never got to complete it. So, if we can bring it to the stage and
I
make it a
wonder
successful show, we can all take some
The
solace in
script
that.
for this show is similar to Furina's life.
Then
Yeah, we've been battling issues on every front trying to realize this dream.
It's like, who could be the little
Anyway,
oenid?
let me give
if
you a
not
quick
Furina?
summary of what the story's all about. The protagonist of the story is a young oenid who transforms herself into human form, despite the protests of her family. She longed to live just like any other human. And sure enough, she found friendship.
Wants to be human?
and
Wants to
even
live like a
love.
normal human?
Everything seemed
Who else could that be?
perfect. But one day, her true identity was exposed,
What the?
and her world came crashing down around her.
So far, so good. A classic tale. What happened after that?
Doesn't sound
That's
familiar?
one of the issues we've been trying to deal with.
Doesn't sound familiar,
Unfortunately,
Furina?
This was as far as the director got with her script. We need a proper ending so we can bring this musical to the stage. But people have different opinions on which direction to take it in.
We still haven't decided between a happy ending or a true-to-life tragedy.
By true to life, you mean the director's sudden disappearance?
Yeah, like they say, truth is stranger than fiction. But then there's the question of whether we really want to use the stage to pass our raw pain onto the audience.
Exactly. A lot of the time, people come to watch a show just hoping for some light entertainment. We have to consider their emotional stake in this.
I
not
mean, I've
just our
always
own.
feel like musicals are
And
kind of like a
one last
fun thing.
We're still waiting
Like, even
on
if the musical
confirmation
is
from
about a
two of our main
sad
actors.
subject, it's always
The
pretty
first is
fun.
Paulo, who plays the protagonist's lover. He's locked himself away to focus on writing an ending for the script. But the deadline's passed, and we still haven't heard from him. The other is Villemont, who plays the main antagonist. He took the director's death pretty hard. Hasn't set foot in the city since.
Oh, wow. So a
He
lot
did
of
write
key
to us,
players are missing.
promising that he'll be there for the final performance, but we haven't seen or heard from him since. So we're not really sure what to make of that.
Huh. Although, now that we have Miss Furina helping us, maybe we should take the opportunity to get everyone back together.
Her
What
name
opportunity?
alone is gonna summon everyone
What
here.
do you mean?
She's super famous. Everyone's gotta be a
Maybe you're
clout chaser.
unaware, but your name has always been like a rallying cry for us.
Our director was constantly singing your praises. All of us look up to you as a role model.
Oh, stop. You're making me all flustered. Although, not in a bad way. I suspect the reason they're dragging their
I'm
feet
happy
is
for
that they
Furina.
have their
She actually
doubts about
deserves this
whether
so
the show
much.
will really go ahead,
Like
considering all
500
the
years of
issues
suffering, she deserves this. Just to be happy,
one
do
by
something for
one,
fun.
All the obstacles are being removed. Now is the time to rally the troops.
Makes sense. Okay, priority number 1, let's check in with Paulo and see where he's at with the ending. He went back to Poisson a few days ago. Said that staying in a friend's home might help him to relax and escape the feeling of isolation.
I thought the last thing his friend would
With
want
Navia?
right now would be to take visitors, given that Poisson was flooded not
Yeah.
too long ago. But I guess it's the opposite. A friend in need and all that.
Yeah, maybe he could use some company.
Poisson?
Oof.
Nothing. I suppose my presence will be indispensable if we are to restore his faith in the show.
I mean, I don't know if she's suffering
So,
from like
allons-y.
PTSD.
Poisson!
If I remember correctly, this is where he's staying.
Who is it?
It's me. Is the script ready?
You came all the way here for that?
All right. Forget that for now. Just come on out. We've got some great news.
Nice try. Look, just give me some time, okay? I'm just wrapping up this last part of the script. I'll be out once I'm done.
Okay then. Looking forward to your masterpiece.
So, as expected, he's missed the deadline.
All right, now kick the door
Ending
down.
is one of the most important parts of the show. Even once he's done, it isn't final until we've all had the chance to read through and make sure we agree on it.
Someone told me they'd just seen you
I
on
figured
Poisson.
Navia would be here, because
I
this is where she
assumed it
lives.
was a case of mistaken identity, but sure enough, here you are. And Furina, too.
I was wondering if we might run into her.
So you're here for Palo? Looks like he could be a while.
Why is there
so
such
feel free to
bad
take a
blood
stroll
between
around
them?
town in the meantime. I've made all the arrangements already.
Oh, it's okay. We can just wait here.
Thank you for being so considerate, Miss Navia. That sounds wonderful. We'll take that stroll. Get over here, you! How oblivious are you?
How are things in Poisson now? Any better?
Things are on the mend, but it's a slow process. Some people may never recover from the trauma they experienced.
I'm sorry to hear that. I wish there was something I could do.
Please, must our conversations take such a depressing
Yeah,
turn
no,
every
like-
time we meet? We all have painful memories, but we don't have to let them cloud everything we do. And if you're trying to make a new start, perhaps it's best if you don't bring up the past all the time.
Thank you for your words of comfort. You make a very good point. But for now, at least, I think I should stay with the way I'm feeling for a while longer.
It's okay. These things take time. Moving on from a painful experience is easier said than done. Which brings me to why I'm here. I thought you should probably know that not everyone here is ready to forgive and forget after the Hydro Archon's inaction in the face of catastrophe.
Bro! Oh my god, they don't know!
I told the townspeople that
They
everyone
don't know
here is
the
a member of
massive amount of
theater,
sacrifice she did
and
for
that
them,
you
actually.
are just an actress playing the role of Furina. It's not a perfect solution, but hopefully it means you won't have to lie low while you're here.
That's so thoughtful.
But
of you,
okay,
Navia.
why can't you
What
tell
do you
them
expect?
now? The prophecy
I am a
passed and
courageous
everyone's
and
safe now. They
considerate
no
president
longer
of
gotta return to the
Spina di
water,
Rosula,
right?
after all, like
So
my
why
father
can't you
before
tell them
me.
now?
Anyway, that was all. Look after her now.
Off we go then. Let's take a look up there. I don't have any friends that I can be frank and honest with, so maybe she's right. You're the closest thing to friends that I have.
I want to say aw, but it's also really sad. Oh, they hate her.
I'm so grateful that
Look
Miss
at these like
Navia was so
hateful staring
understanding.
eyes.
To be perfectly honest, I didn't know if I was ready to meet her. It's always easiest to just run away from your problems. But that never fixes anything. You can't get around the obstacles without facing them.
So that's why you were nervous when they brought up Poisson.
Yeah. I'd be lying if I said I wasn't scared of coming back here.
So they only saw the trial
Still,
when they like
I
basically
felt it was
accused her
something
of
I
being
had
guilty,
to
right?
do.
But
As I was saying
like they didn't see
before,
anything that
I
happened
want to see for
in
myself the things that I never
I guess
could
in
the
that
past.
vision with
I'd be
Navrulite and
overjoyed
stuff
if the people
about the
here could
real
find
truth.
it in their hearts to forgive me. But they're more likely to unleash a tirade of vitriol against me, which, of course, I completely understand and accept. Yeah, I can tell people are watching me. I'm sure some people here see the idea of someone coming to
So I guess
Poisson
like
dressed
the
as
only reason
Hydro
why the
Archon
troop
as
wasn't
extremely
that,
disrespectful.
you know, I guess
I
mad
used
at
to
her or
be
whatever is because
terrified
they
of the
didn't
gaze
live in
of other
Poisson,
people,
right? So
Especially
they
when
weren't
they
the people
had
that lost their lives
suspicion
down
or
here.
resentment in their eyes.
But this was
I
the area where they were
wasn't
hit the
quite ready
hardest.
for this after all.
I'm surprised you're making yourself go through all of this.
I can't let myself see only the things I want to see. How would that make me any different from before?
Look,
The thing is, like, it's not even her
seems to be a crowd
fault. That's the
gathering
that.
over
Probably time we made a move. How about we check out Spina di Rosula's ship? We should have a view of the whole of Poisson from there. I'm sorry. You probably just wanted a relaxing stroll. And here I am dumping all this heavy stuff on you.
It's actually very fine. She's been
don't
keeping
mind.
this emotion
It's
bottled
actually
up for like
refreshing to see a
500
different
years.
side of you.
It's rightfully so. Now she can vent
Well, I
and tell us her
appreciate your
feelings.
company, so please don't disappear just yet. I don't know
Bro, I'll stay here
whether
forever.
you can tell, but the years of suffering and loneliness aren't the only reason I have a hard time facing up to who I used to be.
As I stand here by the ship, I can't get the images of the rising water out of my mind. One after another, people were taken by the water. All those
How long has
treasured
it been
lives
since
and
the Archon
memories
quest and this
washed
quest?
out
Like
of
time frame
existence in
wise?
an
Like a few
instant.
days? A few months?
They thought their god would protect them. They had absolute faith that when disaster struck, a divine power would save them from harm. And all the while, I played my part to perfection to convince them that was true. But then the floodwaters finally came, and the Hydro Archon did nothing.
Because you're literally just
You
human.
shouldn't look at it like that. You were only doing your duty.
I've had to go through
She was actually
so
like
many
everyone else,
moments
now that I
like
think
that
about it,
for the
right?
sake of protecting
She's
the
like
truth.
any normal people that
As
were
time
in
went on,
Fontaine during the time.
It got harder.
Couldn't prevent it, couldn't stop
and
it,
harder to bear.
had no
And I
powers.
became more lonely and isolated. Eventually, I realized I had nothing left except the truth. I became terrified of completely failing in my task, and was haunted by the thought of being left all alone, weeping on my throne. Fortunately, we were able to avoid the worst-case scenario thanks to the help of heroic individuals such as yourselves. Everyone rose to their responsibilities, and I finally regained my freedom. But on some level, freedom also means no longer being needed. I have no further use to people.
I mean, you don't
I
need
would
people
have
to
never
need you
imagined
to
you'd
have a
see
good
it
life,
that way.
though. Like, you can live for yourself.
A reward? I guess so. And back then,
Do the things you
want to
do, right? Whatever it is she wants to do.
Having someone to confide in. I was scared of someone recognizing me for who I truly was, and exposing the secret I swore to protect. Believe in the Furina you see on stage. She is the one you can trust. I had to keep all my feelings, all my curiosity about life to myself. No one could be allowed to know. That's what I really meant when I said I'm no good at maintaining relationships.
So that's where you were coming from. Paimon totally thought you were just a bit of a diva at heart.
Could you please get off my case?
Dude, Paimon,
I don't know
shut
what's
the
gotten
hell
into you today.
up.
I'm making an effort here. You could at least try to do the same.
What would it take for us to get rid of
I
Paimon
once had
permanently?
nothing but the truth,
How much
and
primos do they
now
want?
I'm finally free to live my own life again. And even though I have no idea where I'm going right now, at least the choice is in my hands.
That it is.
Alright, it's about time to head back. Paulo should have finished the ending by now.
Sure. Okay, let's head back and check it out.
Didn't you say you needed to watch what you eat? You're supposed to be cutting down on fried foods, not wolfing down copious quantities of fish and chips, you know?
I'm guessing they mean
Come
French
on.
fries?
It's not every day
And
we
not
get to
actual
dine
fish?
at Furina di Rosula's expense. Can you believe how generous she is? I'm not about to pass on free food. Anyway,
Yeah, I
my
mean, I
character
get
doesn't
it.
need to be slim and
Free
good-looking.
food always tastes
That's
better.
your job.
Are you kidding me right now? It's not your character's health I'm worried about, it's yours. I've spent my whole life battling the effects of ill health, and it kills me to watch you willingly ruin yours by filling yourself up with junk all the time.
Oh no, looks like they're arguing
Are they
again.
friends or are they more than friends?
We're back. Could you maybe put your differences aside for a moment?
Ah, you're back. We've been enjoying Spina di Rosula's VIP treatment in your stead. Paulo's nearly done. We shouldn't have to wait too much longer.
Great! So you were discussing your characters, right? We heard she's playing the oenid who turns into a human girl. What about you?
Me? I'm an oenid too.
He was originally supposed to take the form of a crane, but he outgrew that role. Well, the costume at least. So now he's playing the boar instead.
The boar's not a bad character, actually. He's the one who raises the little oenid, yes?
That's right. He has some pretty memorable lines too, like when he imparts some solemn words of wisdom to the little oenid. If you become human, you can reveal your secret to no one. You will face suffering and loneliness.
This is
this
like
truly what you
part
want?
by part, word for word, basically
Kinda
her story.
familiar.
It's the most important line in the whole
Like this script is
I think
Furina's
it's a
life
symbolic
story,
statement about our director's life and
written by
legacy.
some NPC.
She kept quiet about all the trials and tribulations she faced in running our troupe, allowing us to devote ourselves fully to performing. It was only after she was gone that we realized how tough her job really was.
You mentioned earlier that the troupe is like your home.
Yeah. I was born with an incurable illness, and once my family found out it couldn't be treated, they decided
What
they
the
didn't
hell?
want
Who the
me
fuck does
anymore.
that? Like her
I
real life
spent some
family
years
or her
taking
adopted
whatever
family?
work I could find and trying to manage my illness with various medicines. But whenever I had a bad flare-up, I'd be lying in an alleyway for days at a time. It was like that until the director found me one day. She told me I had a great voice and asked if I was interested in studying singing from her. I said yes. She took me under her wing, taught me to both sing and act, helped me find Mora for my meds, took care of me when my condition decided to flare up.
Damn, the director's like a saint.
I know it was all a huge burden on her.
She sounds like a really incredible person.
She really was. She gave everything she had to her troupe and the people in it.
And the worst thing was,
all of us were so
she
proud
didn't
to
even
call her our
die
director.
by, you know, the flood that happened here.
I
She
was a
got
lost
kidnapped,
child,
right?
too, when she
By
found me.
Vashur?
As the child
here?
of a murderer, my parents weren't around when I was little, so I got sent to an orphanage. The other kids were always picking fights with me. They'd say things like, "Come on, you must be pretty tough if you're the son of a murderer."
Damn.
It was just to taunt me, though. I was an easy target, and they knew it. One day, I got beaten up so bad that I just couldn't take it anymore.
Is everybody in Fontaine
ran
just have the
away.
saddest
I
backstory?
lost all faith in humanity by that point. Thought the whole world was out to get me.
Let me guess. Fortunately, the next person you ran into was the director.
Yeah.
Is it me
For the
or the
first time
director
in my
sounds like some sort
I
of
was
guardian
somewhere I
angel?
felt safe. And I promised myself I'd stay here until the day the group parted ways.
The day you hoped would never come. How times change.
Oh, you're finally done? Get your butt over here. There's someone I need to introduce you to. This
He doesn't
is our
seem
new artistic
too
consultant.
Excited to
Miss
see her.
Furina.
He has beef with her,
Furina?
right?
The Furina? Oh my god, how did you manage to wrangle
Oh,
that?
I guess not.
Please.
Because I was
the
like, he
honor
could have
is
saw her the
all
second he opened the
mine.
door, right?
I was profoundly moved to hear about your troupe and your wonderful director. I just wanted to do something to help.
Same here.
Even so, this is just... Oh, wow. I'm sorry. I'll try to calm down. Now, where was I? Ah, yes, the script, of course. Let me give you a rundown of how the story unfolds in my version of the script. I'm sure you're already familiar with the beginning of the story. A little oenid decides she wants to become a human. against
His
the
version
wishes
of the
her
script,
family.
how much did he
She
change?
finds love and friendship in the bustling city. But then, disaster strikes. The people start to notice that all the fresh water in the surrounding area is slowly disappearing. The soil is becoming arid, plants and flowers are withering, and the people begin to panic. The little oenid, Cleo, and her lover decide to do something about it, and investigate the truth of the matter together. In the end, they discover that all the waste and pollution created by humans over the years has caused the fresh water to flee the land, as if driven by a consciousness of its own.
Consciousness? You mean the water is sentient?
Water as a
Who
conscious
is this
entity.
director?
There's actually quite a few stories that explore this theme.
Since the little oenid is a water spirit, she immediately understands how the water is feeling. She then tells her lover about her true identity, as well as the truth behind the crisis. Her lover accepts her for who she is, and works with her to find a way to bring the water back. However, unbeknownst to them, there were some people eavesdropping when she revealed her secret. The little oenid is accused of being directly responsible for driving the water away, and faces the greatest dilemma of her life.
And then?
In the end, she makes the brave decision to sacrifice herself to save her lover and the rest of humanity.
That is exactly the Archon
But
quest.
didn't they all treat Cleo like a villain? Why would she want to save them after that?
Well, she mainly wanted to save her lover, plus everyone who'd stood up for her.
Through her love for her human partner, she was able to find an even greater love, one that extended to all of humanity. Surely the biggest strength of Cleo's character.
There's actually something else that bothers me. You know the protagonist is supposed to represent the director, right? And she never had the chance to become a hero in our world. If we're serious
Well,
about
I mean, she
dedicating
was
this show to
sort
her
of like a
memory,
hero,
we should
right?
make
She
the ending
saved
as
their
true to life
lives,
as
right? Gave them a
possible.
better future and everything.
What about if the little oenid is hounded to death by people who hate her, her lover makes sure her secret never gets out, and humanity continues down the path to extinction?
That sounds like too cruel of an ending to me.
Oh,
And
what the
perhaps a
hell?
little
She got some
irresponsible to present
demons.
to the audience.
That ending would be a perfect mirror to Director Aureli's death, both arbitrary and meaningless. On the day when she went missing, Director Aureli had instructed us all, somewhat out of the blue, to leave the court of Fontaine and wait for her outside the city. We waited and waited at the rendezvous point, but she never came. By the
why
time
does
we
it sound
returned
like-
to the city, she
Why did it sound
disappeared
like
without a
she
trace.
knew?
We looked for her. The Gardamex looked for her, but she was nowhere to be found. Increasingly, all the signs seemed to point to her being the latest victim in the serial disappearances case.
The director was the kindest soul in the world, yet she was senselessly sacrificed for the sake of a so-called experiment by someone who had nothing to do with her at all.
But doesn't the way she suddenly told you to leave the city suggest that maybe she had some sense of what was about to happen? It almost seems as if she was moving you to safety.
I've been trying to follow up on that ever since, but all my efforts so far have turned up nothing. Villemont might know something, but he won't open up to me.
Villemont?
Oh,
The one
something
who's
is
playing
kind
the role
of
of the
weird.
villain?
Yeah. He's been overwhelmed by grief. I think the director's death hit him hardest of all.
Grief? Guilt, more like. Also, I have a hard time imagining that anyone took it harder than me. Because, well, speaking of the play being true to life, I was deeply,
Oh my
madly
God.
in love with Aureli.
What? You kept that one quiet.
It's time to be
That-
upfront with you all.
That came
No
out of
more keeping
nowhere.
secrets from each other. We'll never be able to agree on the ending if we can't be honest about how we feel. I did tell her how I felt once, but she turned me down pretty much straight away. She said that we were all like brothers and sisters to her, and she'd never considered us as potential romantic partners. Not that it came as a shock
he
or
actually
anything.
confessed.
It was what I was expecting to hear. So I told her I'd always be there for the troupe, and I'd always be there for her. I said, maybe one day in the future, when everyone's settled into their own lives and on the up and up, and managing the troupe no longer required her constant attention, well, maybe then she could reconsider what she really wanted in her life. And now, that day will never come.
Oh, Paulo.
Wait, do we actually
So if I'm the one
know
writing this
she's
ending,
like she
Then I'm gonna
she
make
got
sure it
kidnapped?
does right by Aureli.
Because they say she just
I won't let
disappeared.
anyone get in the
And
way
you know
of
what they
that.
say, right? Like no
In that
body,
case,
no death,
you
right?
have to straighten things out with Villemont once and for all, face to face. We've all had our differences of opinion over the ending, but those two have never seen eye to eye on anything. One of them has to compromise if we're ever going to reach a final decision.
Well, if that's where we're at, looks like it's time to go visit Villemont.
Are you ready to face the truth?
Honestly, I'm slightly terrified. But for the sake of our final performance, I'll do whatever it takes. Funny you should ask, though. You really do get what I'm going through right now.
I certainly do. Come on,
Because
everyone.
the story's
Hello,
basically
Zee.
her life. Everything that's happening here is her life.
Ugh, as if this journey wasn't tough enough already without a roadblock.
They're not even
Don't
blocking the
worry.
road.
We should all be fine with the traveler here. We don't need to take a detour. Wait, why are you all looking at me?
You're the
You're
high
not
shark.
seriously expecting me to fight,
Nah.
are you?
We're just curious, that's all. I don't think anyone's ever
Wait,
seen
they
Furina
they
in a
they
fight
know she doesn't
before.
have any powers anymore, right?
Yeah, but don't you remember why? The Hydro Archon willingly gave up all her powers so it could be converted into indemnitium. Miss Furina said so herself.
Oh, they only know the story
Precisely.
she told.
And I'm not even the Hydro Archon anymore, so all my power is gone anyway.
All right, that's a good story.
As much as it pains me, unfortunately, I should just stay put. I'm more like a.
I got you,
damsel
I
in
got you, girl, I
distress
got
more
you.
than anything.
That
Time to kick some
sounded
ass.
So smug. Ugh, secondhand embarrassment is unbearable.
What the hell is that? What does this mean? I don't know the option.
Hey, lay off, all right? My bluff is hanging from a thread here. I'm sorry. I got carried away. Please help us out, would you?
Holy.
Aw, too bad. I was so pumped to feast my eyes on fight mode Furina.
Sorry to leave all the heavy lifting to you.
Don't worry, piece of cake.
Vilma, are you there?
He lives in a tent in the
guys.
wilderness?
Wait, what's Lady Furina doing here?
I can explain. We've been rounding up the whole troupe. We now have everyone except you.
So, you think knowing the truth about the director's disappearance will help you write an ending to the script that pleases everyone? I care just as much as everyone else about making the little oenid a success. That's why I wanted to wait until after the show. If I open this can of worms now, I just don't want to make things difficult between us. We're supposed to be a unit when we're on stage.
Viamont, avoiding the truth will not help anyone. Unless you mean to suggest that Aurelie's death had something to do with you.
I don't want to talk about it.
Listen, Viamont. I
Wait,
used
what
to
if
think
they
that
were
my love
lovers
for
and they had a
Aurelie
fight?
was a point of shame. I never brought it up to
You know the
anyone.
story?
But now, I've made up my
Like,
mind
they're
to
the
put
real
it all
lovers?
on the table.
Like,
I'm
she
prepared to
friend zoned
face
him,
everything,
but then
to
they were in a...
sacrifice everything for the sake of the show. The little oenid cannot be complete unless we do justice to Aurelie on an emotional level.
This is why people think of you as not being the smart one. As you all know already, the troupe was kept afloat not from ticket sales, but donations from the audience. Of course, that was nowhere near enough. We took on side jobs when we weren't performing, but even then, the troupe's financial situation was pretty dire. So, anyway, one day after a show, a merchant came to me and offered us a huge sponsorship. In return, we just had to provide the audience with their drinks during performances. It
Wait.
seemed like a win-win.
Is it
So,
the soda?
I said yes to it
Fon-
on the spot
Fanta?
without consulting the director.
Or was it the
It was
water
only
that
when the
turned
merchant
everyone
came to deliver
into the
goods
thing?
that I realized the drink in question was
Oh, no.
Isn't that the drink peddled by the culprit behind the
Shoot.
serial disappearances case?
I freaked out when I saw the boxes. And I told the director everything right away. She was completely shocked as well. But she didn't reprimand me for making the decision without consulting her. Instead, she contacted the merchant and stated that the troupe
Oh,
could
that's
not
where she got
agree to this
kidnapped.
collaboration. The merchant was furious, berated us for going back on our word, and threatened to sue us for damages. The amount was astronomical. There was no way we'd be able to pay.
And then,
I was going to sort it on my own, but the director stopped me. She said that this was an issue for the whole troupe and it wasn't my fault. But things only got worse from there. The synth merchant just wouldn't let up, and then suddenly the director
Damn, that
told
dude
us
was
all
a
to leave the
massive
city one day.
asshole. I mean, kind of thank God he
I knew
died.
then that things must have reached a boiling point.
Like I
admit this
get,
whole
I
thing
was,
was
I felt
minus.
kind of sad for him,
I
but
didn't
he
dare to
hurt a
tell
lot
any
of people,
the truth
dude.
back then, and after the director disappeared, I was even more afraid to say anything. Yeah, I got Aurelie killed. There, I said it. Happy now?
Hey,
I mean,
don't
but
say
wasn't
that.
really his fault, right? He didn't know.
Traitor! You knew Aurelie was in danger. Why in God's name didn't you tell us? What do you mean you were afraid? This was a life and death situation. We could have saved her. How could you be so
I mean, they
stupid?
didn't know that that guy was a serial killer.
Please, try not to get too worked up.
Like, they didn't know until after.
Yeah, listen to him. You need to stay calm.
Stay calm? How can I stay calm? This guy got Aurelie murdered. She was the love of my life. And he has the gall to try and high-road us, claiming that he kept his mouth shut for the sake of the show. How about taking some responsibility for what he's done?
That's fair.
All I can say is I'm sorry. Truly. I wanted to apologize to everyone in the troupe, but that won't bring back the director. What good is my apology now? I'm just a coward who made an awful, terrible mistake that I can never take back. Beat me up if you want. Kill me if you prefer. It's what I deserve. End my life. So I can meet the director and apologize to her in person.
Get out of my sight. Go, get lost.
Oh man,
I don't ever want to see your face again.
That's
I didn't
enough.
expect this
You've
when
screamed and
they were
shouted at
gonna
each other
meet
for
up.
long enough. Now pipe down, both of you. Can
Oh.
you stop conflating the show on stage with your real-life relationships in the troupe? You keep
Oh,
saying that you want to
Furina's-
use this final performance to
I
pay
like it.
tribute to your director and celebrate her life. How can you
She's
do
really
that
taking
if you're
control.
just using it as an excuse to vent your own emotions?
You're right.
I'm sorry.
On stage, the lead role is the focal point of the audience's attention. And you're all used to seeing the director as the heart of the troupe. But in her own life, her greatest desire wasn't to be the center of attention. I can tell how much she loved you all, and how much she loved the troupe. What
She's,
she
like,
wanted
uniting
was
the
to
group
build a warm
through,
home
like,
for
you
all of
know,
her brothers and sisters. To shield
through all
you
this
all
drama.
from the storms that rage in the world outside. That's how you should remember her. And that's what you should be celebrating. I understand why you're trying to make her the hero of the story, but isn't she your hero already? After everything she did for you?
Yeah.
So think hard about what that means. And then think again about what you hope to achieve by arguing with each other. If you really hate each other and can't reconcile your differences, then you could just call it quits now. Why bother with the final performance if the group is already fractured? But you can't bring yourself to do that, can you? You care too much about Director Aurelie and the home she built you all to let go. What are you laughing
Why
at?
is she laughing?
I don't see what's so funny.
Sorry, I didn't mean it that way. It's just that, for a moment there, it felt
Yeah,
like
'cause
our
it, like-
director was back with us.
Yeah, because
again.
like it feels like the
If she'd
director
seen Paulo
knows
and Zalot
Furina for
at each other's
real.
throats like
Because
that,
the whole
she
story is
would've
Furina's
stolen
life
them
somehow.
Exactly like you did, in that same stern voice.
Really? But she sounded like such a gentle person.
I mean, the real Furina
Of
is
course
gentle.
she was. Even her harshest lectures came from a place of kindness, and it showed. She really was a truly outstanding person.
What you said, it really puts everything into perspective.
I'm truly sorry. I really meant for this to be a genuine apology, but I ended up making it all about me and my self-pity.
It's all right.
I mean, he
Let's
was
save all
sort of
this
like
for after
suffering
the
through the grief
performance.
too, right? Like
So,
it wasn't really his fault,
what are we gonna
but
do about it?
I can see why he
Clearly,
would feel like it
everyone needs
is.
to take a step back for now.
Because how
and
would he know
reflect
that
on what really
that guy was the
matters.
serial killer who's got
When
kidnapped?
emotions are running high, things get lost in the fray. The end of the story needs to focus back on Aurelie herself. She's the true star of the show.
What do you mean?
The Traveler is right. You once investigated that underwater synth base and recovered items belonging to the victims. If you could find anything that O'Reilly left behind,
Oh, we're going
perhaps
back
we can
in?
get a better sense of what she went through in her final days.
You really think that's possible?
I trust that nobody would object to the ending of the story being based on O'Reilly's true feelings.
No.
Well, we'll leave this in your capable hands.
Come, let's pay a visit to the Palais Mermonia. The rest of you, head back to the
I actually
rehearsal
don't know
location
where
for
it
now,
was.
and wait for our good
It was
news.
underwater, right?
You want to review some recovered items?
I actually thought it was
connected to
gonna be in the
victims of
cave.
Serial disappearances case?
But I guess like they would have taken the evidence
that
here, right?
case has been closed for quite a while now. Still, since you were the ones who discovered and submitted the evidence in the first place, you don't actually have to submit an application. Okay, please hold on. I'll have someone dig them out.
So, this is all O'Reilly left behind. Just whatever she was carrying on her person, and
Is it a
this
diary
tattered old
or-
notebook.
Hey! It's full of script lines! And sketches too! Looks like they show where the different props should be placed on stage.
Let me take a look. Maybe there's something in here from after she was kidnapped. Aha! I found something. To whoever discovers this diary. Let's see. Looks like she kept a detailed record of her captor's actions. She even mentions the truth behind the experiments
Oh
on
my
dissolving
God.
young women. If we'd had the chance to examine this notebook carefully back then, it would have been a conclusive piece of evidence proving Vacher's guilt.
Vacher took so many lives. It's still so unthinkable how many victims he had.
I guess O'Reilly must have written all of this down in the hope
It's
that the
crazy how
records
like
would
all
one
these
day be of
quests
use
are
to
connecting
investigators.
even after they're over,
Wait,
right?
It cuts off. Her handwriting here gets patchier and more illegible by the line. She probably didn't have much strength left. Her final words are... I'll let you read them for yourselves.
Oh wow, so they didn't feed them or anything? They just sort of starved them? That's such a sad piece of writing.
Terrified.
She may have been a mighty hero in the eyes of her troupe, but at the end of the day, she
I don't
was
think
only
we should
human.
show this diary
I
to
can't
the
bear
troupe,
to think
right?
how painful and lonely her final days must have
Because then
been.
that's gonna destroy the group.
Wait, this part on the last page sounds strangely familiar.
What, dude? What the hell? It sounds like it's her that wrote it.
If you become human, you can reveal your secret to no one. You will face suffering and loneliness. Is this still what you want?
Isn't that the most important line in the little oenid?
Because I am an older sister to them.
Oh.
So she didn't regret her decision. Even as she sat in silence, waiting. I'm sure this is what the troupe would have hoped to hear as well. She had their utmost trust, admiration, and love, and she truly deserved it. Let's go. It's time for them to learn Director O'Reilly's final thoughts.
That's basically what Focalors told Furina, no?
She deserves a hero's farewell. If that's the only way to convey to the audience the courage and selflessness that she showed in the face of death, then it's a meaningful way to end the story.
Even in the last moments of her life, she was still leaving a trail for others to follow.
She did her best to protect as many people as possible, even if it meant sacrificing herself.
This is the story of Focalors,
We know
but
what
told
choice her little oenid would
to
have made
humans now, right?
I don't think any more discussion is necessary. Well, Vilmont, if we put the past aside for now, do you think you can bring yourself to go ahead with the show?
I will channel all my regret and put it into my performance to make this a show worthy of our director. I won't ask for your forgiveness, and you don't need to worry about my feelings. This final farewell show should be about Director O'Reilly and her alone.
Then it seems like we've reached a consensus.
It's almost like we're just
I have a feeling that
giving a
this will
farewell
turn out
gift to
be the most
Focalors herself.
mesmerizing performance of your lives.
Really? How can you be so sure when you've never even seen them perform before?
Don't underestimate my experience. After watching a countless number of musicals,
You know, even though, yeah, that's right. Like, even though she's like a new human now, she's free, she was still alive for
you must
500
fully commit
years.
and immerse yourself in your role, pouring all your emotion into your performance. And aren't human emotions love, hate, regret, and hope just the most mesmerizing things in this world? I don't believe anybody could be more committed to bringing this story to life on the stage than they are now.
Thank you for the vote of confidence, Miss Furina. And thank you for supporting us through all this.
Then, let's not delay things any longer. We need to discuss the details of the ending and get it nailed down once and for all.
Actually, before that, I'd like to make a proposal. During the curtain call, please allow me to use the director's name instead of my own.
Huh? But then...
After all, this role was originally meant to be played by the director.
And what
I'm
role
just
is she
filling
supposed to
in for her.
have?
Besides, a role commemorating her life should be associated with her name.
Well, if you're sure you're okay with that, I have no objection to it.
Now we're talking like a serious acting troupe. All right, I'll leave you to fine-tune your musical while I go and procure a stage.
Procure a stage?
Oh, it's okay. Our usual place doesn't need a reservation.
That place? Oh, don't be silly.
Oh, is she gonna put the
For
court?
an
Oh,
extraordinary
she is,
show,
yeah.
we
So now
need
all
an
of Fontaine's gonna know the
extraordinary
story.
stage. By which I,
But they
of course,
don't know that the
mean
story's actually
the
about her
opera
life.
epiclese.
Whoa, wait, what?
No. That's never going to work. It's far too fancy for the likes of us.
What are you afraid of? Surely you don't think that Aurelie's story is unworthy of the grandest stage in Fontaine.
No, that's not what I meant.
It is supposed to be your grand finale, right?
Go big or go home. Facts.
I have no problem with it then. How about the rest of you? I'll take your silence as a yes. Thank you for giving us this opportunity.
Maybe they're shy,
It really
right?
is
Because
a
like
dream
they go
come
from
true.
performing in a smaller
Well,
venue
then
to
don't disappoint me.
the biggest venue in Fontaine.
If you mess this up, it'll reflect poorly on me too. Come on, we'll need to get the go-ahead from Nervilette. I know just where to find him. I knew you'd be here.
She probably knows him pretty well.
I'm here merely for a
right?
short
For hanging
break.
out for 500
It's
years.
been a while, Miss Furina. And you too, traveler in Paimon. What might I
Dude,
assist
how
you
long
with
has it
today?
been?
I would
Since
like
the Archon quest to
opera
now.
epiclese for an event.
It sounds like it's
You
been months.
see,
But for me, it's just one
I
day.
understand. The process for booking the opera epiclese is complex and can be somewhat cumbersome. But given that the request is coming from the three of you, I see no reason to make things unduly difficult. The story of the little oenid is most fascinating. I'm looking forward to seeing it performed on
I mean,
stage.
he must see it, right? How come?
will
I feel
say,
like how come no one
And
sees
I am
that?
surprised
It's based
to
on
see
her
your
life.
passion for the performing arts rekindled after all that has happened.
what do you mean? Do I look excited?
Yes. And this is the first time that I've seen you like this since your departure from deityhood.
At first, I just felt bad about rejecting them.
How come they don't like to
I
hang
wanted
out
learn a little bit
and
more
be
about their
like
situation.
friends?
But one thing led to another, and well, here we are. In the past, we sat in our high chairs in the court, giving our opinions on isolated cases, all while knowing very little about the human stories behind each and every one. Maybe it's because I finally become an ordinary person. and gained
So
my
since
freedom.
she's now a
But
ordinary
I've
person, does that
developed a
mean
great sense of
she will die from
curiosity
old
about
age
their
now?
lives.
I am truly delighted to see you find a new lease on life. Now that you've regained some confidence, have you had any thoughts regarding
Which is because like the other
stage?
humans, right? The other fake
Would
humans
you
before
suddenly
they
ask a
died of old
question like
age.
that?
Well, if the little oenid turns out to be a great
Or is she
success,
still
it will
immortal?
no doubt become a classic. Many theater companies are certain to add it to their repertoire. The experiences and decisions of the protagonist Cleo are all modeled after your own. Naturally, this makes you eminently suited to playing the leading role.
Yeah, I
It
know.
would truly
Oh, so
be
he
a
does see
shame
it.
if
He
you
does
did
see
not
it.
take this opportunity to allow audiences to enjoy your outstanding acting talents once more.
Haven't I already made myself clear? I won't act or perform in any role ever again. No exceptions. Nor do I think it is any great shame. There is no lack of fine actors or inspirational stories, either on or off the stage. This experience is a case in point. I feel like I've learned a lot, and it has already been well worth the price of admission. I must admit, though, I'm a little envious. They're quite fortunate to be able to bid farewell to their past in such a magnificent manner.
I see. Well, I'm glad to learn that you have found a role to play that you enjoy, be it on the stage or not. I sincerely hope the show will serve as the grandest of finales. I will have my staff book the date and mail the relevant paperwork to the troupe once the details are confirmed.
Thanks, Nervalet.
It's
Well,
moving
very
pretty
well
quick,
then.
right? Because they didn't even, like, rehearse yet.
Good news, everyone. It's done. The Opera Epiclese is booked. Thanks to my eloquent and impassioned speech, Monsieur Neuvillette was moved to provide us with a fitting stage for this special performance. We've had to fight every
It's like she
step
still
of the
has
way
all
for
her
this
connections,
opportunity.
despite being
But
human
we now
now.
have all of the ingredients necessary to stage a truly spectacular performance. A touching story, a magnificent venue, and last but not least, a passionate and dedicated cast. Now, let's work together and make this show the best it can be.
This is truly wonderful.
The sooner we can finalize the ending, the more time we'll have to rehearse. Fiamma and I just went over some parts of the script and tweaked a few things. I think it's really going to resonate with the audience now.
Wow, you two had a constructive conversation? That's great!
Communication is vital to any good performance.
Look at us. We've come so far. I never could have pictured this scene a few days ago.
It's amazing! Even though Furina's still being a bit of a drama queen about it all, she's really fired everyone up!
Please feel free to give us any comments or suggestions you have. We really value your input.
Hey, Loic, get over here. Time to practice the opening number.
Oh, are we not gonna see the actual play? Aww.
That cursed Cleo. She stole the
Oh, we
waters
are.
of life from us. She's a fraud, and she must pay for her crimes.
This has nothing to do with her. The ignorance and hatred of our people is to blame. How can we hope to win back the water's favor if we don't change our ways?
This guy could be useful. Take him hostage. If Cleo wants him back, she'll have to show herself.
Leave this place, oh little oenid, and never, ever look back!
Everyone's really throwing themselves into their roles. I haven't seen such a fine performance in a long time. If only...
What should we do? It's almost time for her to take the stage!
Oh, she's gotta do it.
Why? Why does it have to be now?
Hey,
It's
what's going
Furina.
on?
She's gotta take the
You're due on
stage.
stage any second now.
Did they ever say what her
not again.
illness is? Like,
But why? What
I
about
don't
your new
see
meds?
any
Did they
flare
stop
up or
working?
anything.
They've been getting less and less effective over time. I've had to keep increasing my dose.
What? I thought they cure it. So they were only managing your symptoms?
I figured whatever it took to get me through this final performance.
How could you do this to yourself? And after that lecture you gave me about not looking after my health.
I'm sorry. I've let everyone down.
You... This is a conversation for another time. How can the show go on without its star performer?
The side-eye, the side-eye. Did you see the side-eye?
I'd like to make a request of you.
Say no more. If you're sick, you need to rest. I know what you're going to ask. Loic, your character has no more scenes, correct?
Oh,
Wait,
yeah,
is she gonna
I
tell
think my scenes are all done. Although,
him to play the...
I do have one more line, but I guess another guy in the troupe with a similar voice register could take it. Why?
Please take Delphi back to her place to rest. I'll sing the finale.
Have we ever heard
From the
Furina sing?
sublime to the ridiculous. After all that, everything's come full circle.
Thank you, Miss Furina. I'm so sorry to put you in this position after everything you said.
How do we know she's not faking it so Furina
Never
would take the
mind.
stage?
What's done is done. It's really my own fault for getting in too deep. No one likes regrets, myself included. Leave it to me. I've watched you rehearse so many times that I've learned Cleo's part by heart.
I do not doubt your acting skills, but please allow me to ask just one more question. After all, this show is dedicated to the life and legacy of our director. What, in your opinion, is the reason Cleo shines so brightly?
But she's doing it all for you guys.
It's her pure heart. Despite all the pain and loneliness she had to endure, she never once stopped believing in the beauty in this world.
Well said. I leave Director O'Reilly in your hands.
They don't have to change her outfit or anything. She's gonna walk in with her archon outfit.
Is she here yet?
Let's get here!
She's not coming!
You're wrong. She's here.
Is that actually her singing? She has a really beautiful voice.
But what about your wish?
My wish.
If you become human, you can reveal your secret to no one. You will face suffering and loneliness. Is this truly what you want?
She dropped her vision? Wait, why is the traveler
Is it
there?
just me?
Were they part of
Or
the
was that
play?
Lady Furina on the stage just now? She hasn't been seen for a while now, and she just appears out of nowhere? Gotta say, though, her acting skills are as superb as ever.
The little oenid, Cleo, played by Aurélie Fumont.
Wait, that's not her name. What's going on? I don't know. Maybe it's just a doppelganger.
I mean, makes sense though, right? Makes sense because the director knew Furina's life inside out.
Hopefully,
It might as well
not
be
too
her
many
alter
people
ego.
recognized me. It's too bad that I had to break the one clear rule I'd managed to make for myself, even if I had no choice. Still, I have to admit that, despite everything, it felt good to be back on the stage again.
Finally, we would like to give a special thanks to our artistic consultant and event coordinator, Miss Furina.
Just gonna say it.
Hey, that's not what we agreed on.
Oh, so it was Furina after all. She's back.
Honestly, what is he doing? He should have run that by me first.
All right, calm down. Don't be mad. This was a group decision. We just didn't want your contributions to go unacknowledged. After all, it's been the rule in Fontaine since ancient times that everyone's work, visible or invisible, is equally deserving of recognition.
Yes, I
That
know
is true,
the
right?
rule,
She
but-
never got the respect she deserves for the
It should
suffering.
still be applied on a case-by-case basis. I wasn't ready for this yet.
It's no big deal. What's the
I mean,
worst
who
that
did they
can
think was
happen?
playing her? It's obviously Furina.
Oh, yeah? Well, since you think it's so easy,
No non-NPC has blue hair.
This is a great chat and all, but can we talk about that crazy thing that happened during the show? It nearly gave Paimon a heart attack. Paimon flew over to where she was supposed to be and was about to drop the prop vision, and then suddenly, a real one popped out of thin air!
Oh,
Oh, wait, what?
I've got no idea what happened there either. But hey, it worked pretty well, didn't it?
Wait, a real
The
vision
audience has never seen such a realistic prop.
popped up
Wait,
in
what
the
about
middle of
Dolphy?
the performance?
Wonder how she's doing.
Let's go check on her as soon as we finish clearing the stage.
Yes. Plus, she'll definitely want to hear how the end of the show went. If nothing else, we can safely say that we accomplished what we set out to do.
What? What the hell? So, she's no longer just human now. Like, she's like a human with a vision. What the shit? In the middle of her performance? Yo. So much for living a normal human life, right? I think they're a couple.
Ah, you're back. She's doing okay. Her condition stabilized after taking some of her original medication. From experience, though, I'd say she still needs a few more days of rest.
How did the performance go? Was it a success? Did the audience like it?
You'll be glad to know it was fantastic! Also, you're not gonna believe what happened while Furina was on the stage. You'll probably be able to read all about it in the Steambird first.
Do the regular people know it was a
That's
real vision and
wonderful.
not a prop vision?
I'm so sorry I failed to see it.
Because
through
how
to
would
the
you even
end.
tell the difference?
I guess I was wrong to try and tough it out to begin with.
No, don't worry about it. Like they told me after announcing my name during the curtain call, everyone's work deserves recognition. Even though you couldn't see it through to the final scene, the audience was very impressed by your performance. It's safe to say that you made your mark on this memorial show.
Well, one way or another, we did it. I've had bad luck ever since I was born, so I never expect things to go smoothly in life. I'm just happy to know that we went out on a high note. That's all that matters.
Blaming your bad luck again, are we? Maybe if you didn't push yourself past your limits so much, your illness wouldn't be flaring up all the time.
Oh, don't you start. I don't have the energy to argue with you right now.
That's that couple energy going on right there. The little bickering.
I don't know what you're talking about.
You mean we never stop arguing with each other?
So, any plans for the next step? After the brilliant performance you put on, the reputation of your troupe is sure to spread through Fontaine like wildfire. You won't have to disband if you don't want to. You could capitalize on the rave reviews and license out the little oenid to the bigger theater troupes out there. That would do wonders for your financial situation.
That'd be smart.
No, we should still disband.
Yeah, it's what we all agreed to.
After all that's happened.
But is that what
I should give you
Aurelie
guys some
would have
space.
wanted?
But maybe our paths will cross again one day.
Hey, don't just walk off!
I think he needs to forgive
I
because
still
that guy
want to
feels
keep
guilty.
performing, so I might join another troupe. After watching Miss Furina's performance, I think I'm starting to understand our director's infatuation with musicals.
You should do it. It suits you. I'd originally hoped to keep performing too, but I don't know if my health will allow me to.
Oh, so now you finally got your priorities in order. I guess
Those
I'll
sly
hold off until
comments.
you've properly recovered as well. What about you, Miss Furina? Any future plans?
Well, frankly, I think a return to obscurity is no longer an option for me. I'm sure a slew of consultancy requests will hound me wherever I go, until I finally acquiesce. You rather sealed my fate there with your special thanks at the end of the show.
Sorry.
It's quite all right. No need to apologize. What I meant to
I mean, it
say
sounds like
is
she's really
that
good at that, right?
this whole experience has shown me that perhaps I'm not as averse to a return to the stage as I previously imagined. Maybe Nervilette was right. Maybe Cleo is the right role for me. I still don't wish to pretend to be someone else, but I do have a desire to express myself. So, maybe the show will go on for me after all.
You do whatever feels right to you.
Yeah. There was once a time when I was an actress in a masquerade, seeking only to hide the truth. But from now on, I want to spend my time learning real stories about real people and how they touch the lives of others around them.
I mean, you are a
I want to
real
watch them
people
blossom
now.
and wither. See
You're
them
one of
refined
them.
on the page, retold on the stage, and remembered long into the future. I'm sure this is what captivated director Aurelie as well.
Sounds like you're ready to stop running from your true calling. The more you get out into the world, the more you'll discover what a fascinating place it is.
Then it's a deal. If a vision is a gift from the gods, then I should
I'm
do my
confused about
best
that
to honor
vision.
it. It's ironic to think that in my whole time as a god, I could only ever dream of receiving this kind of power. And now that the gods have given me their blessing, it actually feels more like I'm finally able to take my fate in my own hands.
That's so weird, though.
Is that how humans feel about it as well?
Well, I don't know. I don't have a vision in real life. It's so confusing. Like, okay, she got a vision, and where do visions come from? Celestia. But then they trick Celestia into thinking like, you know, everything's still Gucci. She's still the archon, right? How did they just bestow a vision to her? That should never be a thing. How did Nervilette grant a vision to her? Hydro sovereigns don't do that though. Celestia is the one that do it, no? They have more. Yeah, I know. They do have more power, but the vision itself, that comes from Celestia. Before Celestia came to be, there was no visions and stuff for people. I have more questions, and I still need more answers.